If I had to start my YouTube channel from scratch, here's exactly what I do differently and the 3 big mistakes I try to avoid. Over the last year and a half, I built this channel to over 8,000 subscribers while running an agency helping a lot of other service-based business owners start their own YouTube channels and get clients from it. Funny enough, this channel originally started as a show of proof to the cold prospects I was reaching out to for my business. The content I was uploading was a mix of YouTube growth and a bit of video editing because that's pretty much where I specialized in. I hope I do because hopefully, I mean, you can watch my content and make your own judgment. But in all seriousness, growth was solid. And I even achieved one of my childhood dreams of hitting 8,000 subscribers. I know that might not sound like much because there are a lot of bigger figures like 100,000 subscribers or 1,000,000 subscribers. But to me, this was a number I've always wanted as a kid. And I know that the kid back then would have been so proud of me for managing to achieve this. But even with this really small success, I never had a clear goal or strategy with this channel. And that's exactly why it now feels like my channel is so out of place and confusing. I mean, just take a look at the content so far. It's literally everywhere. The upload schedules are so infrequent. And because of this, after taking a small shift in my direction and a long but necessary hiatus, I realized I made a few major mistakes that completely stunted my channel's growth. So that's why in today's video, I want to be completely transparent and walk you through the 3 biggest mistakes that I made and what I would do differently to avoid it, and of course, grow my channel a lot faster without any hiccups. And hopefully for anyone that is watching this video, you can take note of all the mistakes that I'm talking about in this video and try to avoid it because it honestly was really mentally draining for me. And I don't want you to go through that same mentally draining process. So with that being said, the first mistake I want to address is not knowing what kind of channel I wanted from the start. In other words, the type of content I wanted to upload and make and who it was really meant for. So back then when I ran my first YouTube channel targeting high school students, it was so clear to me what I wanted from the YouTube channel and what the goal was from the start. And that was to help high school students apply to my university's program. I uploaded content with the intention of helping these high school students apply, pass, and be proud of the fact that they got into their dream program. You know, looking back, it was something I was actually quite passionate about. And I think the exact same feeling, that passion I was sharing, went into that same videos I was creating. And funny enough, 5 years later on, I still get reach outs from new high school students applying to universities looking for my help. And of course, I still reply to them. But now looking at the current state of this channel, I've come to realize that I've never had a straightforward goal with it. I mean, sure, you could say it's more focused on YouTube growth based on the content I've been uploading in the past and I guess more recently, but I was battling with this dilemma if I wanted this channel to be a core component of my business growth or something I wanted to grow personally. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. So basically, that constant tug of war with myself caused this channel's direction to take a drastic nosedive into territory I had no idea of navigating. I was so confused, and I was talking to my girlfriend and I had really bad days where I just felt like I could not run this channel at all. There was no direction on what I was doing with my YouTube channel and what I wanted this channel to do for me. And that's why for the past few weeks, my content literally looked like it was all over the place. I started uploading content for agency owners and coaches looking to start a YouTube channel and getting more clients from it, which isn't necessarily bad because in fact, some of those videos that I created did end up ranking on the YouTube search results, and it of course helped out with my cold outreach, which I'm pretty happy with. But to me, this content I was uploading just felt like I was making this channel a lot more complex and a lot more confusing than it should be. And the worst of it, I wasn't really enjoying it, and it just didn't feel like a channel I wanted to run at the end of the day. And that's why the uploading frequency is so bad. This is quite an ironic mistake to be admitting to, and honestly, I'm quite embarrassed myself because this is the exact same mistake I always warn my own clients about when they start their YouTube channels. You want to know exactly what you want from the beginning and what your channel should be about. Without that clear direction, you'll end up confused and really unsure on how your channel will grow and who you want to target. And most importantly, what the goal is at the end of the day. But I somehow fell into that same trap I originally warned about, and I was so blindsided by this, it didn't really hit me until more recently. After stepping back for, I guess, a few weeks and really thinking about the channel's direction, I realized what I truly enjoy the most, and that is to help a lot of other smaller creators grow their channels and not suffer like how I'm suffering. So that's the direction I'm going to try to double down on, and it feels a lot more authentic. It sparks new ideas for me, especially in the video category, and it finally gives this channel a sense of purpose it's been missing since the beginning. So yeah, not having a clear direction was the first big mistake I would try to avoid if I had to start my channel all over again. Now, the second mistake I want to talk about, and honestly, it's the one that held me back the most, and this is me doubting my own potential. Once you start doubting yourself, it spirals fast. I mean, coming from myself, who's been suffering from this for a long time, not even with YouTube, but in life, it eats you up. You question your progress, your skills, and even whether you belong on YouTube in the first place. For me, it usually hits when I was researching video ideas. I'd end up comparing myself to other competitors and other creators and see how their channels are performing and are so way ahead of mine in subscribers, views, and even in business. And instead of giving me inspiration on new ideas that I can create, it just made me feel like I couldn't do what they were doing. And I guess it also felt that dream I've always wanted to have was getting a lot more further and further away, and these other creators are getting a lot closer to my dream. Now, since most of these channels I watched were business or agency growth focused and related, it took real mental strength not to spiral uncontrollably into this comparison trap, even though I ended up falling for it pretty much all the time. And maybe I'm just being too honest with myself here, but that's genuinely how I felt. Not only with uploading videos, but also growing my own business. I never really talked about this with my friends or family. It's a little difficult to really admit to, especially, like this, but it's a big reason why I held myself back for so long. And what I came to realize is that in truth, it's normal to feel like you're not the perfect expert. You'll question if you're ready, if you know enough, or if anyone would ever care to listen to you. But no one ever really feels ready. It's a quite normal feeling. Whenever I talk to my code prospects, one of the biggest objections I hear all the time is that they don't feel like they have enough experience to start a YouTube channel or share their expertise. But what actually justifies as having the right to talk about something? And this is something I really had to think about. Do you need 1 year of experience, 10 years of experience, 20? There's no perfect timeline or certification that suddenly gives you that permission to start or have that belief that you are validated to open your own YouTube channel and be proud of it. For example, I have a friend who started a YouTube channel about running her art business. She's only been doing her business for 2 years, but it's been doing incredibly, really well. So when it came to making her YouTube channel, she didn't question whether she had the right to share advice, even though she only had 2 years of experience. She just started documenting her process because there was a lot of people that were asking her how she made her passion work and how did she turn her passion into a thriving business. And that's exactly what I want you to take away from this. You don't need to be the top 1% expert to start sharing your own expertise. You really just need to be a step ahead of the people you're trying to help. So if you're watching this and you've been holding back because you're scared or feel like you're not ready, you should remember this: doubt kills a lot more dreams than failure ever will. I'm going to be really real here. I still doubt myself sometimes, and I'm not as confident as I appear to be to so many people. Even though I have the real results and case studies to back myself up and run my business, my doubts still creep in. I'm scared to fail. I fear I can't run my business properly, and I want to do things that just keep me comfortable. But like Clark Kent said in the most recent Superman movie, that's just what makes us human. This is honestly really cringy to say because I don't like to say really corny stuff like this. Kind of weird, and it gives me icks, I guess, if that's what you like to call it. But it really is truth, and you're just human, and these feelings you are feeling are what makes your YouTube journey worth it at the end of the day. So if I was to start my channel all over again, I would 100% put more belief into myself and my own capabilities and try to get over that doubting mentality that I've always struggled with. Before I end this video off, there is one last mistake I made, and honestly, it brought me so much unnecessary stress and a lot of late night calls with my girlfriend. And that mistake was becoming a perfectionist and setting really unrealistic expectations for myself and for my YouTube channel. Let me tell you this, no video will ever be perfect. When you expect perfection, you're setting yourself up for burnout and really bad disappointment. Growth on YouTube takes time for a lot of testing, trials and errors, and patience. It might take months, even a year, before you really understand what works for your channel. When I was consistently uploading to this channel, maybe a year ago or a few months ago, I'd stress over every single detail that was coming in for me and every single detail when producing those videos. Some videos would perform really well while the next one would flop. And because of this, I was so addicted to being perfect with every video and chasing that dream that the next video that I'll be uploading would perform a lot better than the other one. And that's really where the doubt kicks in for me. The same doubt I talked about earlier. It makes you feel disconnected from your own channel, like you don't really matter and you don't know what you're doing. And at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is never enough. And I remember this so clearly because I would always refresh my YouTube analytics every hour, sometimes every minute, just to see if something changed. And looking back, that wasn't me being data driven and being very analytical. That was me trying to feed my perfectionist mentality. But I guess, why do I have this perfectionist mindset to begin with? Honestly, I think it came from a mix of my own insecurities and expectations. Really embarrassing to say this like this, I have no idea. But not seeing a huge number on my channel made me feel like I wasn't enough. And this kind of ties back to the strategy I promote in my business. And this is because the strategy I like to promote is more focused on client acquisitions and ignoring vanity metrics. But I've always had this underlying feeling that I needed a large channel to prove my worth. And it doesn't really help my case that some of the cold prospects that I was reaching out to, at the end of the day, kind of badmouth me, saying that my channel isn't big enough to really justify the work, which I totally get it. I see where they're coming from, but when you take it a little bit more personally, surprisingly, a lot of people actually do. It kind of does hurt a little bit, so I guess that's where my insecurities also kind of lie. But what I'm trying to say is that with this really unrealistic expectation that I pretty much made for myself, it just put me into this mindset that every upload I made on this channel had to both grow the channel and can be prospects that I need to work with. It was just causing this huge disconnect with what I originally wanted and making it so painful to enjoy doing. I want to share this really quick story. So back in 2021, when I was still running my first channel and when everyone was coughing because it's COVID, I remember having a conversation with my old high school friend group about YouTube. At the time, one of my friends also had a channel. She was uploading pretty much lifestyle vlogs that were pulling in solid numbers of views and subscribers. Naturally, that became the focus of our conversation. People start comparing our channels, and from the outside, it just looked like hers was doing significantly a lot better. Meanwhile, my channel wasn't growing as fast in views or the subscribers, but it was actually working behind the scenes. I was getting messages from high school students asking for my help, which was the whole goal of the channel to begin with. But when I tried explaining that, it didn't really click with anyone. And to them, success on YouTube was purely about numbers and how many views and subscribers you had. But to be honest, I don't really blame them. This is the mindset most people have. But back then, it really did mess me up. I really started believing that if I wasn't growing rapidly, I must be doing something wrong, that I wasn't perfect enough to be seen as successful. And that's why I just grew tired of that channel, even though it was pretty successful and I wish I continued with it. It's because of that mindset and me thinking that, I'm not a perfect expert. I'm not really growing on YouTube. Why should I continue? That's one of my biggest regrets. But don't get me wrong, my friends are great people and I still hang out with them till this day. But that moment really did stick with me. It was one of those first times that I realized how easy it is to let other people's definition of success shape your own. So what can you really take away from this mistake I made? Well, I want you to have the mindset that every video you upload is never going to be perfect. Even with the backing of statistics and analytical tools like vidIQ or 1 of 10, maybe even TubeBuddy, you can never know if your video will do well at the end of the day. Sure, there are ways to ensure that the chances of the video performing will be a lot higher, but I don't want you to stress or beat yourself up about being perfect to gain the best result. Because at the end of the day, you need to upload a lot of content to test to see what works. And this process might take you days or even months to get right. I know a channel that it took them over a year to get the content that they wanted to develop working for them. But at the end of the day, this is a necessary process every small creator has to take. And that is exactly why I'm uploading this more emotionally charged video, because I wanted to see if creating a video that is straight from what I feel is, one, what my viewers are looking for from me, and two, if I enjoy this content style a lot more. And to be honest, at this moment, just filming the video, going off script a little bit, I do enjoy making this type of video, because the truth is YouTube growth isn't a straight line. It's a process of testing, learning, and adjusting. It's like going to the gym. In the first few months, you will see no progress at all. But if you include disciplined behaviors and stay consistent with your workouts, that result will eventually come. And that's exactly what I found myself achieving after going to the gym for the past 4 to 5 years. I mean, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, but hopefully you could like see my muscles. Not really there, but it's basically there. But anyways, this logic similarly applies to growing a channel on YouTube. But you should also remember this. Every channel is different. Some creators are entertainers and some are educators. The key really is to figure out which one you are. And then you want to test to see what is the most comfortable for you and what doesn't put you into that perfectionist mentality. So if I were to start my YouTube channel all over again, I would definitely tell myself that, you know, making mistakes is all okay. You have to continue with the testing process, and I would beg myself not to take on a perfectionist mentality. And that's pretty much all the mistakes I wanted to point out if I were to start my YouTube channel all over again. I know this video was a lot more emotionally charged than what I used to upload, but like what I said earlier, I really wanted to test to see if this type of content works better for my channel. And to be honest, making this video was quite difficult, and you would click on the record button because I don't like to be pouring out my emotions like this, especially in something so public like YouTube. I'm not even this emotionally charged or very vulnerable to my own family or friends, but I surprisingly enjoyed making this video and scripting it, especially pouring my thoughts into what I wanted to talk about in this video. So speaking from experience, if you're feeling any sort of doubt, confusion with your channel's direction, and the feeling of being perfect, just try and make that change. It really is a huge, massive step you have to take, but it's a necessary one. By the way, if you want any more channel growth tips, you should definitely watch one of my other videos talking a little bit more about monetization methods that small creators could potentially be using. In this video, I rank which methods I would pick as a small creator, because let's be honest, getting ad revenue and getting that YouTube goal is really difficult. So you should definitely check out that video if you are pretty interested in learning a little bit more about me. But other than that, don't make these mistakes that I talked about in this video, and you'll definitely go kill it on YouTube.